The second game, and I'm really sad to say this, is Mighty Number 9.
Mm-hmm.
I finally put some time into it.
How far did you get in the end? I remember you played a little
34 minutes.
Okay. It only counts game time, I think, in the thing.
Well, I'm talking about Steam.
So, the Steam counter. Okay. Yeah, never mind.
I can tag in here because I beat it this week.
Okay, good. So I played it for 34 minutes. I don't want to ever play it again. Ever. I tried 5 times to give this game a shot. I hate it so much. I don't think it's the worst game in the world, and I don't think that it's particularly poorly made, even on the PC at least, right? Where it runs fine, and I hate the way Beck looks. I hate the way Beck jumps. I hate with every fiber of my being that
Sounding
dash
like
mechanic.
AM over here.
What Mega Mans do you like?
2, 3, 4, 5, even 6, X1, X2,
Okay.
X4. You know the good ones?
The good ones.
And as I was playing it, and I remember you guys saying, well, it's not as bad as X7. It's like, yeah. Okay.
No.
Of course it's not. Nothing's as bad as X7.
Maybe Umbrella Corps.
But like that like the core of it is that dash mechanic is the worst.
The worst.
I hate it so much.
Wow.
It's really divisive, the dash mechanic.
I have fun with it.
I think the dash is one of the better parts. Yeah.
Okay, well, this is where I'm trying to hold it back.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
I'll say is you're crazy.
Okay.
Because that dash thing is the worst. Fuck killing enemies. Nah.
You can
Just
kill them. Just keep shooting.
Yeah, but like the combine that with the fucking thing, your bullets disappear at the edge of the fucking screen.
That's bullshit.
Like it feels bad to fight enemies.
See, I think the dash is fine in like another game where it wasn't like saying, hey, it's kind of a Mega Man spiritual successor. If it was really its own game, like if the dash mechanic was the main mechanic of Azure Striker Gunvolt instead of what it has, which I honestly forget what it has.
Oh god,
It has stand and electrify.
Yeah.
Stand and fry.
If the dash mechanic was placed there, I'd be like, hey, that's kind of cool. But when you're trying to make a spiritual Mega Man successor and you have this like new feature, right? And you're like, okay, that's kind of cool. But it's like that clashes with how you think modern Mega Man which is just shooting whatever. And it seems more like a special move, like a special boss move that you would get on occasion. Like, I think it works better in that context.
I tend to disagree. I think the dash is one of the most fondly remembered things Mega Man can do.
But not killing enemies.
The dash
No, it's
is
different.
Hold on.
I
would like to make one correction,
thing.
and it's something that you and Wooly have talked a lot about, but you've never made the distinction. It's one of the fun. The dash is one of the most fun things that Mega Man X.
Sorry, I said
do.
Mega Man because I'm including X and Zero and a variety of Mega Man.
I find a very big distinction between those two things, and that's part of the reason why I hate this so much.
No, I know the original can't, but I meant Zero and X.
you get the
I didn't
slide
just mean one
in
Mega
the
Man.
original.
Like,
Yeah, but
a lot
like,
of Mega Man.
I wasn't
dash.
even referring to that. I was just referring the ability to the main gimmick is to kill enemies with the dash, not an X dash, which is usually meant just for mobility. And that's
so,
it.
like on top of the way I hate that it controls, like I think that it looks terrible. And I remember thinking back, like it must have. I remember there were early things that looked different, but I forgot how different they look. So I went back to the Kickstarter and I looked at that very repeated like screenshot concept design, and that looks like a million times better. But all of that's like pure concept art. But underneath that piece of concept art is a bunch of mock-up screenshots that all look way better than.
But I mean, it's
game.
all concept as well. So
I don't care.
The mock-up screenshots looked way incredible compared to the final product.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I'll also say that now, like after
and so did the concept video.
Having beaten it, I will say that so the bullet disappearing thing, and the crowded enemy group where you can't actually dash in because you still have unshot enemies there and you can't hit them because they're in the group, becomes more of a problem to later on in the game.
I actually never. I noticed it, but I literally never had a problem with the bullets disappearing. Like I'm really struggling to think of a situation where it's a problem. I noticed it, and I thought it was weird, but I never had a problem because of it.
It's for me. It was annoying because it's not something that would happen. It's not something I'm used to happening, and I would want to shoot things from that far away. you know, or like have something that's
Sure.
like going into the screen. I have some cover there and whatnot.
It kind of depends on how wired your brain is to Mega Man or games that are similar. Like, if you want to shoot something from that distance, like, it does feel off if it's not happening for whatever reason.
And
it's a bug or a design.
Yeah, I know. And in old Mega Man games, there was a distance, but like it was a lot further. But in any case, the thing though, where the crowded enemies are there, and some of them are stuck in the middle where they're waiting to be absorbed, and the others are still healthy. That happens a lot more towards the end, and like in the last stages, I noticed that some of the like difficulty of like the waves they'd send at you was based on that. So that got really annoying. But outside of that, though, I think again there's still some really fun stuff.
Hey, do you remember in the Kickstarter how they said that Beck was going to transform into different forms?
What's
for
the
his
deal with
powers?
that? I never followed up on
you
why
remember
that
that?
was
That
dropped.
just got cut. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It just wasn't working out apparently.
No, instead they
Well,
replaced.
what was it?
He would
So he could
transform
turn
his
into
body.
Like, he could turn into like a hammer or
like drills.
Or
Instead
a
of just
vehicle
having
or
the,
something.
I don't even
instead of
remember
just
that.
switching to a power, his body would change and then
Become
he would
a
do
thing.
that.
Okay.
So do you remember? No, that's gone. Okay, instead just dash through these enemies in a terrible feeling fashion and get a random power up. Hey, Liam, what does the yellow do?
They're not random, by the way, but I don't know what the
Oh, you don't know what the yellow does? Okay.
That's like kind of besides the point that I don't
No,
know
I
what
think it
does.
actually is like part of the point where like part of the core gameplay is based around these power ups, and no one's been able to tell me what the yellow one does.
The yellow one doesn't, like, nobody feels like it matters.
So why is it there?
Because it probably does do something that matters. Maybe it just raises your points or some shit. I have no fucking.
Do you see what I'm saying here, though?
There's a whole lot-
Kinda, but the blue and the red ones are really important to playing.
Yeah,
you know?
get rid
Like,
of them. Make the game play well. And
There's a whole lot of tips that I definitely didn't read on that tip screen. That's for sure. I went back after Liam, you told me about the R2 button, and started using those and stuff. And the jump back was useful, but I couldn't figure out the other one. And I was looking for a tip on it, and there wasn't any.
R2 and square?
R2 and square, together. So that like I
You
couldn't.
mean it didn't work, or
No, I couldn't find a place in the game that told me how to do that. I was looking for the tip screens.
Oh, it's in the controls.
In the controls, it says R2 is XL movement or something like that.
Yeah.
But it just says it's R2, right? And the fact that you have to sort of combine it wasn't mentioned anywhere.
I mean, isn't that the first thing anyone does when they pick up a game is press all the buttons, you know?
but
not all the
so what
not
I did
all the
was
button combinations.
what I did was I pressed it with the jump, and I got like the jump back, and I was like, okay, that's useful. And then I was trying to, and then I remember you said something about diagonal shot, and I was like, where, how, what? And I couldn't. Until it's like, yeah, you get that combo. That becomes super useful in certain circumstances for sure, though. One thing I will say is upon beating it, the playing as Ray is a lot more fun.
Ray's really enjoyable.
I think Ray's a lot more fun, and it's a much different paced game, and you have to kind of rush down to stay alive and stuff. And I think that it's weird in that like Ray feels like very different, and like I wish Beck felt more like Ray.
Yeah, I get you.
I wish Beck felt more like Mega Man.
What did you feel about the final boss fight, though?
Yeah, I didn't feel it was that bad. I mean,
What a great boss.
it was kind of like a lame Sigma, you know. But I totally forgot that there was that whole video about the fighting it and shit like that, and it didn't strike me as anything un-Mega Man like. I think we've seen giant Sigma type bosses like that before. It was just, you know, it blew
It's
me
a weird
away,
thing
but
because I guess I kind of like fucked myself over because I watched that video and I was like, I don't want to fight this, so I'll not. Like, you know
Also,
what I mean? It's like knowing a final boss was not going to be very memorable or very great. So then you're like, well, I don't. Because you sometimes hope, like, oh man, I hope that they nail the ending. There's a awesome fight where like everything kind of works and clicks, and it's awesome and satisfying and whatever. And you're just watching this thing just be one of the most tedious fights I've seen in like lately. Not saying it's the worst fight ever, but I'm just like, I don't want to fight that.
I also like as far as like causing damage on it and shit like that goes, like switching to the Grenadier option kind of really trivialized it, so I didn't really feel the grind for too long, because the moment I saw like, okay, my bullets are doing this, I'm going to switch to the explosion, and it kind of like made
Yeah, the powers do a lot against him.
it made it a lot easier of a fight. Yeah, I don't know. In the end, I was like, yeah, that's a Sigma thing. That's one of the, it's one of the less interesting Sigma forms. But it's like the way I feel about the whole thing in general is summed up almost in the way I felt about that fight, where it's like, this is just one of the more mediocre Mega Man X games.
Doesn't that mean it's an abysmal failure?
No, because abysmal failure would be like a bad game that I'd never want to play.
You mean like this game?
That's what I don't
That's
think.
not how Wooly feels.
That's not what I
though.
think this
You're
is.
projecting.
No, that was
it's fine that you don't like it.
That was
I'm not gonna
unfair.
fight you on
I'll admit, but it's just like I can't understand this mentality of spending all this time and all this money, and it's okay because it's not terrible.
I regret-
feel that's like a crazy lowering of standards.
I'm saying in a white room, right? Because I fully, totally agree that once you take what this is supposed to spiritually be and you take the weight of its circumstances and apply it to the situation, it gets a lot worse.
Yeah.
I agree. However, in a white room, as a video game, in a console, with a controller in my hands, it's one of the games that's like, I'd rather have not. When it comes to like X7, when it comes to some of the worst ones.
No, that's absurd. I hate that mentality. Like, it's not as bad as the worst ones, therefore it's okay.
No. That's not where I was going.
Well, do you remember
That's not
last
where I was
week
going,
we said
though.
it was like as good as like
Five or
and
so.
stuff. Like
Where I was
we weren't
going-
saying it was just better than the worst.
Where I was going was, I remember when I played 5 and I was like, this isn't as good as 4. I was bummed out by it, but it was at the end. I was like, it was still a fine game. I didn't
Okay.
walk away from it going like, God damn
Well,
it.
here's where I'm at. It doesn't exist in a white room, and it does have that context, and it has the different context of I helped make this happen, and I wish I hadn't, because we would be better without this game because it sucks. And I didn't even get to talk about all the stuff. The story, everyone constantly stopping to talk to you and fucking up the flow of the level. Stop. I don't want to talk to you, Dr. Brown, or the fuck your name is. Your design is terrible. All of your designs are terrible, except for Call.
The enemy designs are pretty good. The boss designs and stuff.
Yeah, some of the bosses.
I saw Pyrogen and he seems fine.
I like Brand.
You're saying in a white room, if before all the Kickstarter crap happened, whatever, if the Kickstarter launched with the exact same beta demo, I would have instantly backed down because
I would never
when I
have backed
played
the
that
game.
beta, I was like, this is not great. I don't like this, and that's like I was just kind of done with it at that point. So even without all the Kickstarter drama, it's the opposite of Bloodstained, where Bloodstained could not be more early, and that automatically feels better and more true to its roots. And if the beta demo had been put like within like, I don't know, let's say not even at the Kickstarter, but like maybe even a month after it concluded, I'd still would have been like, this is not like, I don't have a lot of hope for this because it's already feeling not great to me personally.
And on a core level of like the white room discussion, like even if I go there, like even if the campaign had been top to bottom like A+, like no weird red ash, no weird the shenanigans, like I would still have a very serious problem with the way this game turned out, because over and over and over they go classic Mega Man, classic Mega Man, classic Mega Man, and there's no mention of the dash anywhere on that page. It is never mentioned.
During the Kickstarter campaign?
During the Kickstarter campaign.
Oh,
the word dash is not on that page.
I don't know.
And guess what? I don't want that fucking shitty dash. I want to play a fucking Mega Man game where I jump and shoot and my fucking bullets don't disappear, and I don't have to get a green power up to make it feel like I'm moving properly.
Yeah, like I said, on the dash thing, I think I like the dash, so I'm going to disagree there. But
On its own,
because dashing is fun.
On its own,
fun.
I like the dash, but with the enemy suck up mechanic, I hate it.
Well,
Fucking hate it.
it's I mean, I when I played that first level demo of it, and I was like, yeah, okay, I feel what this is going to be, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. I remember that first demo being what it was.
I should have.
It didn't bother me.
I should have played that demo way back, so I could have been shitting on the game the whole time.
That's so deliciously you.
Oh my
For
god!
why?
Oh man!
Because it sucks.
Because he was cheated out of months of anger.
To get more shit in there, to get like to fill it, to get more like.
Because
it's the
now
opposite.
every time it comes up, or any time Inafune comes up, or Recore comes up, I'm gonna shit all over Mighty Number 9 because he fucking took my money and made a piece of shit.
All it is the opposite of when someone goes, "Oh, I really lament not being on board with this sooner because it's so good. I would have loved to have had those extra months of joy."
Yeah, it's the opposite. It's that,
which I still understand. In a different way.
I think it's fair to say that, like, based on especially how like Bloodstain is like, you know, like
killing
shaping up and
Yeah.
really well and shit like that. Like with history on our side, when you're doing something that's like an homage to a classic thing that has like tons of entries, the thing that you can make now in 2016 with, again, history on your side should be the best version of it, if not like leaps and bounds ahead, right?
Like, you know what's way better than Mighty Number 9? Mega Man 9 and 10.
So it's a super disappointment when the new thing is not absolutely killing it on a level that the old ones didn't. You know, that should be the case for sure.
And I know I'm being hyperbolic, Pat, and all that.
Of course.
Like, I get it. But like,
quite clearly.
But no, I really hate this game. Like, I hate playing it. I really wanted to beat at least 3 or 4 levels, possibly beat it before the podcast, so that I wouldn't be like the uninformed opinion and the knee-jerk thing. And I kept loading it up. I loaded up like 4 or 5 different times, and I started to play through Pyrogen's level, and I got like upset. Like, fuck this game, upset over how much I don't like everything about the movement and the look and the, like, oh.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, I always kind of think there's other projects like this one. It could have been this one. It could have been another one that would, like, maybe didn't really nail it. But, you know, one of them wasn't going to. Because there's been lots of Kickstarter, like, crowdfunding disasters from, like, a technical level.
Yeah,
the Kickstarter failed.
The Sun told me to stop.
The money, or the Sun told me to stop. And
which is always going to be the winner.
This is like the first one that I think, like, generally people can consider, it's divisive at the very least. But, like, at least there is, like, other stuff to at least go, well, that didn't work out, whatever, this couldn't work out, but at least Bloodstain's looking cool. At least Ukulele hands-on demos at E3 were like, this is fucking fantastic. But, and
like
blah, blah, blah,
on
blah.
like a moral level, there's also a problem I have with this game, and that I got really excited for it, and we talked about how excited we were for it.
When people look back at
on the
everything
very first
said,
podcast, and I probably had, like, somebody knew about it because of me, or, you know, because I talked about it, or because I said it looked good, and I put money into it. So, like, I am tangentially responsible for other people's disappointment, and that makes me feel like shit.
I think
I am now an accomplice in other people's disappointment.
I think
that
that's also
sentiment is
hyperbolic.
odd.
Pat's going to the extreme there. I think that, you know, I'm bummed out.
If I told somebody to eat at a sandwich place and they got salmonella, I would feel bad.
You didn't say that. You didn't say eat at the sandwich place. You put $20 down on this thing. You didn't know if it was going to be good or not.
If I talked about how excited I was and how much I love this sandwich place, and someone someone went down there to eat on my, like, enthusiasm and got sick, I would still feel bad.
So does that mean conversely that you feel good because you helped make Shovel Knight good?
Yes.
Huh. Yeah, that's weird. No, I don't see it that way at all.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way at all. You put the money in.
I got salmonella at the sandwich place. Oh, it's better than nothing.
You helped make this thing a reality. You are tangentially responsible for whatever percentage of that.
It's like, good or bad?
Yes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I'm a call. You know,
how did you make Shovel Knight better?
I gave them money so they could.
No,
add
how
more
did you make
features.
it better? How much money did you put in?
I put Shovel Knight. I believe I put in like $40.
What did your $40 do to make it better?
Specifically,
Well, it paid for 1 or 2 people to work for 1 or 2 hours to polish up or make something better.
At least
Are you
okay? So
no,
nothing.
wait. Oh,
realistically
so I shouldn't have donated it.
It wouldn't have made a difference.
So no one's pledge made a difference unless they.
It's the sum that makes a difference.
Yes, and
one
that
person
responsibility is
difference.
parceled out amongst those people.
me and Wooly made it better.
How can you say anyone
We helped
made
design a
any
boss
individual made the game better? You know,
Liam,
like,
Yeah,
barring
we can take that.
Liam,
Matt, you and I can take
Liam,
that.
came up with some core ideas.
Are
and they
you
were
saying
implemented
that
expertly?
if there is a road in front of you and I pour my
Sully, what did
bottle
you
of
do this
water
week?
out on that road, along with
do some stuff?
No, I mean,
100,000 people, say,
Okay.
and then the road
Well,
becomes
here's-
wet.
Willy.
Yeah.
Are you saying that I didn't have anything to do with that road becoming wet?
I'm saying that no, because you guys created it specifically. The team at Yacht Club created Shovel Knight specifically.
With my money and other people's
But it's
money.
not quite the same. The analogy is not watertight.
You know what you can use,
ironically.
Sorry, you just because you can probably use like voting and like you vote for a shitty president that moves in and does some shitty. Like you can use that.
Yeah, like,
probably.
that's what
Yeah,
it is,
no,
you know, right?
that's a much
think-
better
more apt-
I
analogy.
think
Yeah.
that's more on point.
And guess what? You're responsible for your political representatives' decisions.
I think
Just like I'm responsible for my economic representatives' decisions.
I don't agree.
so.
Well,
I'll
that's
say,
fine.
Here's the thing.
You can ignore all guilt and responsibility all you want.
it's not about man.
I
Why
got-
are you putting words in my mouth?
I'm not. I
Yes,
put
you
words out
are.
of my mouth.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop, Pat. So
I think like what it comes down to here is what you feel is like rage and upset. I feel bummed, but ultimately
I
got-
also feel bummed.
But I got something out of it.
I got bummed as well.
I got bummed, but I got something out of it.
The only thing that
the
I
fun
got-
moments that I had, I'm not going to pretend I didn't have fun in those moments. I
No,
did.
obviously not.
There
No,
were
same,
some moments that were enjoyable.
I am highly
And-
envious of both of you
about
this.
and I'm bummed that we didn't get what we could have. I'm bummed that I'm not going to pop it in again.
yeah, not until the second one comes out.
If you know what I
for
mean.
many years. Yeah,
or possibly they add those other features that
Yeah,
are worth taking
and-
a spin
that's
on.
true.
And I'm ultra bummed that like this and the one fucking Azure Striker Gunvolt
Oh, yeah.
are both not the fucking badass Return of Mega Man that I was hoping we'd get.
Yeah, I didn't
so
really
I'm
dig
still
either.
waiting on fucking Mega Jesus.
I hear you there.
The,
know what I
the-
mean?
the only thing that I'll say that I'm really like thrilled about this is, and I'm sure all of you know this and are annoyed by it, but I love being pissed about something and
Yeah.
feeling righteous about
Yeah,
it.
you do.
And this is going to power me for a while, for a long.
Oh
fucking
no!
while.
Like
course,
the
of course.
fact that you said I wish I shat on it sooner betrays
Well-
everything about what you like in life.
Well,
I wanted to like this game. I really did.
But
Like,
then like you lamented, like I had played the beta and I was like, I'm not happy with this right now. I'm glad that I'm not happy with it right now, because if it had turned out like worse or the same, then I would have been even more devastated later. If I had never touched them, be like, I'm going to play it at launch and I'll be really happy. I'm sure I will.
You would have had that inkling.
I'd like at least have that inkling where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go like balls in, like, oh jeez, I can't wait, and then be disappointed again. It would have been worse. And then that's not a slight against my number 9 in particular. It's about any form of media.
That
Yeah.
you get it.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Okay. All right.
that was interesting.
So
But before we move on, I actually
Let's
do need to
move
say
on.
one last thing, and you both clearly think it's stupid, but I need to say it. And if you are a person that listened to me talk in the podcast or on my Twitter or whatever, and my enthusiasm for Mighty Number 9 or reposting that image of like Beck and Mega Man looking at the moon, I remember reposting that. If that influenced you to back that Kickstarter and you are now disappointed, I am sorry. My bad. I will try and not do that in the
tweet
future.
at Pat how much money you put into the game, and he will personally refund you
He's saying
all
it
of the
live.
money that you put
Live
into Mighty
here.
Number 9.
that's good. If you felt real bad,
Then Pat will personally refund you.
you have to give him a screenshot.
So
to prove that
so
you
here's
did.
the thing
You
that you're
paid some
laughing.
money.
If I, instead of being like enthusiastic about it, told people to go and do that, I would have to seriously consider that.
Oh, come on. Pat.
That's a bit much.
Come on.
That's a bit much for anyone, I think.
Come the fuck on. Dude.
Well, I saw a guy on
People
our
could take you
subreddit-
for a super ride by easily editing pictures.
Well, okay, so the
Easily.
second part of that would be to like if we lived in a world in which
You
that could
can't-
be confirmed.
You can't now blame yourself and
Hey,
be
listen!
mad-
No, listen.
like-
I've gotten hyped up about multiplayer games with a friend of mine or whatever, and we've bought them, and they've turned out to be terrible. After I like sold them on the idea of me playing that multiplayer game
Okay.
with them, and I have absolutely offered to pay for that game for them because it's my fault that they wasted their
Well,
money.
a few weeks ago on our subreddit, someone said like, "Oh shit, you're not going to RTX. I specifically bought a ticket to go because I thought, and I'm like, yeah, sorry, it didn't work out.
Fuck, that
And I
sucks.
offered, I'll pay you back.
That's shitty.
So
your
let-
thing
let-
because like like Pat said, they specifically spent money to see us,
And then you backed
shit,
out.
It didn't
Yeah,
work. It
yeah.
didn't work out. So then, like,
So,
feel
so
some
let me
modicum of
give you like a
responsibility.
much like less crazy
Nice.
sounding example, Wooly.
Yeah,
Oh, your
what's
phone's
that?
going off. It's like I'm gonna try and get the missus into Monster Hunter. Just try, right?
Mm-hmm.
But part of that is me buying her a copy,
Right.
so that if she doesn't like it, she just either gives me the copy back and I give it to somebody or whatever, so that her money is not wasted on something that I like nudged for.
Okay, now here's I mean, this can go a lot of ways, but there's a lot of time. We brought up crowdfunding a lot of the time. And
Yes.
sometimes it's a bust. And
We've been
sometimes it's
excited
not.
for bad games too.
And it's happened, right?
Yeah, no, crowdfunding aside, just like, oh boy,
general.
that looks good.
Oh boy, I hope Yaiba's good.
So
No one said that.
Me and Matt said that.
You and Matt
I
said
did
that.
not say that.
I hoped it was.
I
good.
did not say
Oh no,
that.
it was Wooly. It was Wooly.
I
It was
don't
Wooly.
fucking-
Yeah, I hoped Jaiba was good.
There's a real
Yaiba's the best game with Beck in it.
there's
Let's
a
just-
there's
real
a
talk.
there's a real
But-
cynicism / positivity slant if you cut this room into pieces.
I think so. I think that's
I'm
evident
noticing this
to all the listeners.
Matt and I are just waiting for things to be terrible.
I'm not. I don't wait for them. I'm always hopeful, but I'm quick to turn around on them.
I would, yeah.
On the scale
You
of
know?
optimism to pessimism, I think it goes Liam, Wooly, Matt, Pat. I think that's
I
probably
think
clear.
that's pretty accurate.
I think you and I just flip sometimes.
Yeah,
a
no,
little bit.
You
That's
and
about
you
it,
and Matt are
depending on
close
the
to the
thing,
middle,
yeah.
and me and Liam are farther out to the other sides.
But yeah, all that to say, it's like is every single time that you've brought up a Kickstarter and that you've been positive about it, like, do you take responsibility if someone took your enthusiasm
that's
to heart?
why after Mighty Number 9 started to look bad, I started to become very cool when we talk about Kickstarter.
Well, we always definitely do say, "Hey, man, check it out yourself.
That's
make an informed decision."
That's when I started to like, because I remember I put Facebook posts up about Pillars of Eternity when that was happening, because I was like, this is slam dunk, and I don't do that anymore. I don't do that on my Twitter anymore. I don't do that because of Mighty Number 9, because I
mean, I think like the furthest I'm comfortable pushing it is like with like Indivisible, for example, where it's like, this looks like a slam dunk.
and there's
really,
a demo
really like what
for
I
Indivisible.
have.
There was a demo that you could
feel it.
play that was
Yeah,
good, you know.
kind
This
of
is a-
know those guys.
There's a team they've played. They made a
Honestly,
good ass game before this. I trust them. I really
If-
want this
if-
game to happen, so I'm gonna like go out and say like,
If
yeah,
we
man.
play
Yeah,
a-
that's on the line. Like any farther than that, it would have been
If
uncomfortable.
we
But
have a
that's on the
Kickstarter
right side
that we're
of that
promoting,
line.
and there's a demo, and we either talk about the demo on the podcast or we do an actual video.
Yeah.
And if someone can either look at that video of us playing this demo in its entirety or download themselves, and if they then make it like that, that's their decision after that point. You literally have something you can tactilely feel and touch. Whereas when there's a Kickstarter, when there's nothing, and we're just like, oh, this looks really cool, but there's like, you know, that then you take my word for it.
and
LeVar
to twist
Burton,
and to
you
twist
know?
this whole thing around in one final screw here. What
One
if
last screw.
what if someone loved the fuck out of Mighty Number 9?
Then they're dumb.
But what if
there's
someone
certainly people
hated the
out there.
shit out of Shovel Knight? Would you give that Shovel
I-
Knight back or a refund?
No, they're idiots.
That's
So
yeah.
So is the emotional cutoff point for the refund no refund?
It's
based
reality.
What's the meta score
on-
line?
what's the personal over under? You know, like is it like because what I'm saying is if
I don't like. Maybe this is Pat being crazy. I literally don't under.
The
why would
disappointment?
I cater to idiots and crazy people?
because it's based on opinions now.
No, it's not.
That's because that's what it is, though.
Okay.
It's
Games are
that's
good
what
or
I'm
bad?
getting
Okay,
to the
yeah,
opinion,
all right, here we
right?
go.
And then we get to the gray level where it's like it was not awful, it was not great, it was in the middle.
No.
someone takes it worse than others.
No.
Is that guy entitled?
Well, that's what apparently is happening with Mighty Number 9. But what's happening is there's a piece of shit that exists, and some people seem to like the taste of shit in their mouth.
When
I don't agree, and I also think the reviews don't agree, and I also think I think you're projecting.
I'm just trying to point out that like because people's tastes also differ.
Yeah, some people like the taste of shit in their mouth.
It gets more ridiculous the more we go down this road. You know. it breaks apart further and further.
It doesn't break apart for me.
When the game,
I'm 100% certain all the time.
when Mighty Number 9 launched, I made that Twitter post saying, "Hey everyone, just play the best Mega Man homage game ever," and I just showed a picture of Shovel
like
Knight.
Wooly,
and it got like 1,000 retweets
Right.
or whatever. But I did.
Yeah,
get
you were
some,
hot on the meme train.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
as like Sonic the Hedgehog as well. You know,
Yeah.
hot on the hate.
Yeah, well, because Shovel Knight's a better game.
It
every
is.
fucking
It is a
It
better
is.
game.
So, but
like,
I
with the
still
internet-
got some comments saying, "Wow, the worst game I played last year. Cool. Yeah, I'm not going to play that." Meaning Shovel Knight. So,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to say to that?
Yeah.
That person is locked down on that whatever train that is.
And there was
So,
a lot of
good luck with
premature.
that. So
there was
I
a lot
just
of
ignored it.
There was a lot of premature people that were like that didn't touch the game that were
Like-
already writing it out. Too,
Wooly, don't get me wrong. I'm very envious of your soft palate's like appreciability for shit, but like let's not be crazy here.
Yeah, let's not be crazy.
Yeah, it's just again, it's like when like the spectrum comes down to the way someone feels about something, and then you attach monetary value to that.
Holy shit! Did anyone else have a week?
We did.
It's true.
We did, and let's
Running kind of long
let's
here.
get to it, shall we?
Unfortunately, the original Mighty Number 9 conversation got eaten up, so some of it spilled over into this.
Some of it spilled over into this one. That is the truth. You got 2 weeks worth of Mighty Number 9 instead
No,
of
you
pretty
got
much.
1.5 weeks, really.
Yeah.
Well, then Matt's got to play it still.
All right. Well, I guess I'll
No,
take
I'm not.
it then.
Okay.
Like I played.
You just don't want to.
I played the base game for another hour where I finish on the demo. I'm like, I do not want to continue this because my opinion will not. I don't think it'll get better, so I'll just stop.
I'll tell you the
talking
same thing
about
I
it.
said to Pat, which is maybe just skip to the DLC stage with Ray because it's the best one.
I
And,
will.
might give that a
I
go.
will at some
and Ray's
point
a better
do that.
character. So.
But that'll probably like actually make me more upset because then my mentality will be like,
Probably.
why isn't the game
'Cause again-
like this?
Why isn't it all about Ray?
Yeah, yeah.
Because again, if you recall, when like my number 9 was like starting up, one of my few criticisms at the start is like, I don't like the way this main character looks at all. He looks kind of like a little dick. Like a little prick. I don't like his face.
Wait, do you
He's
mean like
not-
a
I remember,
penis?
I
Or do
remember you
like-
never liking Beck, and I remember always liking Beck's design. So I
Design-wise,
don't know,
he looks like a little asshole. Like he doesn't look like a.
Okay, does he
friendly
look like a
character.
dick or an asshole here?
He looks like.
Is he puckering or hanging?
no, just personality wise. But in the game, he like speaks just like Mega Man, acts just like Mega
Yeah.
Man or whatever. But his design wise, I'm still thinking he looks like a little jerk.
Conversely, I think Roll plays worse than Beck, and it's not fun at all.
Yeah, she's kind of she's a gimmick character.
Call is
yeah.
not fun to use, and that too sucks.
No, she definitely like reeks of gimmick character where it's just like, okay, she's
What's her deal?
here because we could.
You can float, jump,
I'm done.
and she has a shield instead of a
Oh,
dash
fine.
and a
Great.
slower gun.
it's different. It is different, but
I'll give you that.
All right,
different and
hey,
less
man,
fun.
Wooly, what
Yes.
are you up to?
Well,
You are the one.
so it was my number 9.
What do you feel about Mighty Number 9? Let's.
The rest of my time was spent doing a couple things.